Now, Sydney's annual Sculpture by the Sea exhibition launches today, featuring more than 100 works from both international and local artists. Our reporter Lara Himes has the lucky job of covering it for us this morning. And Lara, such an incredible exhibition, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, Michael, I tell you what, we did start off the day with quite a gloomy sort of sky above us. It's now really brightened up, and just out on the headland here at Bondi Beach, we've seen a pod of whales going by, so it hasn't been too bad in terms of an office. But I just wanted to bring in the founder of Sculpture by the Sea. This is David Hanley. David, this is basically your vision. I don't want to alarm you, but just so you know, behind you is a bubblegum pink tank that is sitting out east of Bondi Beach.
Why not?
Tell us about that influence. Obviously, Sculpture by the Sea doesn't normally have a brief that it follows, but it's a little bit different this year in terms of some of the flavours of the pieces that we're seeing.
Yes, we put on a showcase of Czech and Slovak sculptors, 10 artists from those wonderful countries, in celebration of the Velvet Revolution that took place 30 years ago and a week or two from now.
So tell me about this specific sculpture behind us. Obviously, the Velvet Revolution was the country coming out of Soviet rule and moving into democracy. But this particular piece has a little bit of significance in terms of the time. Tell us about that.
It's very significant. In 1991, this artist, David Cherny, painted bubblegum pink, the memorial to the Soviet Union tank crews that had liberated Prague in 1945, but that memorial was viewed after 1968 and the crushing of the Prague Spring and its liberalising reforms as a symbol of oppression. And so Cherny just thought in the middle of the night, as a young guy, let's paint a Russian tank bubblegum pink. Made him an international star overnight, and he's gone on to do amazing things since.
So he sort of recreated this, and this is one of the feature pieces here for sculptures. But it's not just this piece that has a bit of an Eastern flavour to it. There's some other pieces and something that you've been inspired to do as well from your time in Prague.
Very much so. I lived in Prague in Central Europe just shortly after the revolutions there, and it was a fantastic time of exuberance, excitement, freedom of expression. One of the artists in this exhibition put on a sculpture exhibition that I saw, and I went, that's the art form for this free to the public event that maybe one day I might put on. So having this celebration of Czech and Slovak artists is both personal to me, but it was a very significant moment in world history. These artists could not have exhibited here or travelled here 30 years ago.
Now, obviously, it's not just international pieces that are on display. There's also over 70 pieces that are done by Australian artists. What opportunities does it give Australians to see their pieces to the world?
Very significant. Joel Adler, no doubt, will be the star of this show with his extraordinary cantilevered reverse periscope where you look through it and down onto the ocean below. Extraordinary. His first time in Sculpture by the Sea, and thanks to Paul and Vicky Clitheroe, through their foundation, he's been given a mentorship which has enabled him, with support of others, to come up with this extraordinary sculpture and to realise it.
Now, let's talk figures. Obviously, something like this is a significant cost, but it also reaps some benefits to the economy, doesn't it?
Yeah, thanks to all the work by the artists here, the local Waverley economy gets about $11 million extra each year from people outside the area just for the food and beverage outlets, and more specifically for the state, from international and interstate tourists who fly in just to see the show. It's about $38.9 million that's injected each year. So we have to thank the artists, and a little bit of a plug here, we really should be supporting the artists much more with their hard costs to put this show on.
Now, the point is to be made that this isn't just a Sydney-centric exhibition. This actually does showcase around the country too.
Very much so. In March, we have Sculpture by the Sea on Cottesloe Beach in WA, a fantastic show. And at Victor Harbour in South Australia on Granite Island, we have a permanent sculpture trail called Sculpture Encounters. And it's a fantastic little project there with a number of sculptures that have been in Sculpture by the Sea.
So, Michael, as you can see, this kind of exhibition is really beneficial not just to this economy, but also across Australia, and it will be showcasing for the next 18 days here in Bondi.
Looks amazing. Great job, Lara Himes. Thank you so much. We'll come back to you a bit later on. Looks like a beautiful day there in Sydney as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I loved Sculpture by the Sea, but I'd have to keep organising to go earlier and earlier and earlier because it's so popular. It's like a traffic jam there.
Yeah, which is good. It goes from strength to strength. So more on that, and also around the country a bit later on as well, as we heard.